So, according to NBC, Trump has to release his taxes. So, here's the headline from NBC. Appeal court rules Trump must turn over taxes. So, what's next? How'd they rule that? So that kind of seems a bit unconstitutional. I mean, are are they talking about some sort of fraud? Because or some sort of economic thing? Because that's the only thing I can think of is fraud is why they would need that. Otherwise, it's probably just going to be not constitutional, but I'd still comply, and then if it's not, sue them. Okay, now that what I do, let's go watch. Shoot, wrong thing. Let's go watch the video. So here's NBC.
Another loss for President Trump in his tax subpoena case. The president has been.
Oh, it's a subpoena. Okay, let me go explain what a subpoena is. Basically, what a subpoena is, it's not a warrant for you specifically, but let's say some drug dealer talks to someone else, and that someone else has a friend who has a brother whose cousin works at the Joe Biden campaign and sends out anonymous texts, and an anonymous text goes to you. That is valid evidence for you to get surveilled. In other words, the subpoena thing, if you talk to anyone, they can surveil you, even if you did nothing wrong.
Has been trying for a year to keep New York prosecutors away from his financial records. Today, a federal appeals court ruled that the Manhattan District Attorney, can obtain the president's tax records as part of a larger investigation into Trump and his business practices. And
so it's fraud or something like that.
NBC News investigations correspondent.
Jesus Christ! Okay, the guy has a hairline receding from, well, farther than I don't even know.
Tom Winter joins me now. Tom, it seems like a while since we've talked about this one with you, but we always come back to it. A 3-judge panel denying the president's argument that this subpoena should be blocked. The president saying it was too broad and was politically motivated. What did the judges say about that argument?
Of course it was politically motivated. Everything's politically motivated. Are you saying it wasn't politically motivated when it's on the president of the United States? Not just a president of the United States, arguably the most controversial president since anywhere I can think. Or since, I don't know, 30 years?
Argument?
Well, essentially, the judges today really slapped down that argument, saying, look, the crux of the president's argument, his attorney William Consovoy's argument, was this idea that the subpoena, or the investigation, I should say, is primarily focused on those 2016 hush money payments to Stormy
Yeah. And it's not hush money, it's called donations.
Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. And the judges say, we just don't buy that on its face. That just doesn't make sense. And so if that...
Oh, wait, what was that? Not politically motivated? What'd he say again?
Say is primarily focused on those 2016 hush money payments to Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal.
Oh! So it was in 2016, the year of the election, and there were payments. You know, this isn't politically motivated at all.
And the judges say, we just don't buy that on its face. That just doesn't make sense. And so if that
How does it not make sense?
pin is gone, the idea that the investigation is only centered on that, and that the investigation, as they say, grand juries typically paint with a broad brush, citing another case. They say, look, if a grand jury typically looks at a wide range of things, they're looking at a wide range of things
here. A grand jury, meaning this is a criminal investigation. Well, to do that, you're going to have to impeach Trump, because Trump can pardon anybody and cancel any investigation. I know it kind of seems corrupt. Why do you think we have impeachment?
It's not centered on those payments. Well, guess what? That argument doesn't hold, and so this grand jury subpoena is perfectly valid. And they also didn't find that the idea that the subpoena, Allison, is essentially a copy of a House subpoena that was served on the president and his tax.
Oh, by the way, I could have been subpoenaed because I've gotten many anonymous texts from Trump campaign, and anybody who's in the organization is related to Trump, so they could surveil me.
They didn't think that was necessarily a sign of bad faith or wrongdoing. And so when those two things go away, any sort of grounds that the president has to appeal this successfully, stop this subpoena from being served, go completely out the window. And that's what.
So tell me why this should be, because, we operate on innocent before proven guilty.
The judges determined.
Actually, just give me one bit of evidence why Trump should be subpoenaed besides he got donations.
Tom, if your appearances on the show have taught us anything, if this past year has taught us anything, this is far from over.
In fact, it's so far from over, we're going to have 4 more years of Trump.
I'm running out of fingers on one hand to count how many times this is ping-ponged around the courts. So what happened?
Yeah. In other words, it's happened so many times, nobody believes you, and you keep throwing up the same allegations. Oh, Trump corrupt, Trump racist, Trump sexist.
Next year, how much longer could this drag out Cy Vance's fight to get those Trump's tax records?
Well, I think the good news here is, Allison, and I, as you alluded to, don't have an opportunity to say this very often, we are coming to the end of this battle because...
Oh, you're not. What'd you watch? One episode of Law & Order? Okay, let's say it even makes it to a trial, which is highly unlikely. Almost 99% just gets settled. Or a plea deal, as argued. Even if it's a slam dunk case, it's going to be a plea deal. He's not going to trial. And trial will take 2 years. So, how long will this take? 1 year? Oh no, Trump will almost be done with his presidency.
There's really only one step left. So the Supreme Court has already said, look, this idea that the president can't be served a subpoena, that's out the window. We've already dealt with that. And then they came back to the lower courts and they said, look, if there's any other reason that any other normal person, you, myself, anybody watching us, could challenge this, the president can challenge on those grounds. Well, the lower courts today have said, nope, that doesn't exist. That's out of the window. So now what has to happen
to just appeal it
here is the president, there's already indications that they are going to ask the Supreme Court to take a look at this. He's going to have to ask the Supreme Court to take a look at the grand jury subpoena purely on the merits. This has no constitutional separation of the executive branch from the judiciary.
Wait, what?
Of the executive branch from the
okay.
She's going to have to ask the Supreme Court to take a look at the grand jury subpoena purely on the merits. This has no constitutional separation of the executive branch from the judiciary.
What do you mean?
Sorts of presidential privilege discussions. All of
presidential privilege. I'm pretty sure he could just be, going to, I don't know, appeals court. If they deny their appeal, he'll just keep working it up until he gets to the Supreme Court. Once he gets to the Supreme Court, which may be in 2 years, either way they'll rule, Trump will be out of president if he wins this election.
All of that is gone. They've got to look at just this idea of the subpoena. I think because the president's arguments is...
Okay, well, tell me why the subpoena is happening. Because a subpoena is a special type of warrant. It's not just your regular warrant. No. It's very special.
The attorney's arguments were so beaten down in the appellate courts and at the district court level that really this just doesn't have much of a chance. So at this point, the Supreme Court will decide to do...
Oh, wait, he's already went to the district court. So I don't really know a higher court than that.
Either one of two things. They can say, look, we're going to hold off on this until we can hear arguments. We do want to hear arguments on this. They can actually say it's actually 3 things. The second thing they could say is, look, we'll hear arguments at this at some point, but you know what, there's no reason to stay this. As a matter of fact, Cy Vance, you can go ahead and you can get those tax returns and get that those tax.
The one that NBC wants, and then it's going to be accidentally leaked to the media.
documents. You can take a look at it. If later we decide that there's something improper, we'll deal with that then. Or the third thing is they can say, you know what, there's not an issue here for the Supreme Court of the United States. We remand this down to the lower courts. And at that point, they've already decided. And so the tax documents and the tax returns from the president, from his tax preparer, Mazars USA LLC, they were the ones that actually got this subpoena in the first place, Allison. They'll have to turn that over. And at that point, the investigation continues.
Yes, and what are they investigating? Like, seriously, I'm confused. What are they investigating? Are they They're obviously investigating Trump for receiving donations, but, or at least that's according to NBC, but how's that level for a warrant?
Tom, it's not that we don't want to see you again, but it would be nice to get some finality here to understand what's going on and then have you back to talk about some other things. So it looks like we will at least be talking about this once more. Tom Winter, thank you.
Oh, God. Okay,
so much.
Definitely. Sure thing. Thanks, awesome.
Hey, NBC News viewer.
Nope. So that made me slightly mad. So if I'm slightly mad, you're going to be slightly mad. That's how it worked when you liked and subscribed to all my videos. Understand? Because, some say if you watch all of my videos, you can become hypnotized. Some do say that, So, I don't know. Maybe it's just false. But who knows? Maybe you'll become hypnotized and subscribe to my channel. Please? That would be very nice if you could. I'm Jesus. Okay, end of video, bye.